A man walks through a garden, a beautiful rose garden. He looks upon a rose that is about to blossom. He looks at that rose and in expectation that in the few days to come that beautiful blossoming bud will blossom into a rose. He thinks of the beauty of that rose, and then he remembers that that rose is only going to blossom and it will only remain in a beauteous state for only a few days. And he looks at the rose, he says, look at your condition. Your beauty at best will come to be tomorrow, but thereafter you will fall apart. And you will blossom only for a moment, only for an instant will you remain in your beauty. And taken by compassion, taken by worry, he looks at that rose and he makes these remarks. The rose turns back and speaks and says, I'm definitely going to blossom. There are many of you beings that walk the world that will be here for 50 years, 70 years, 80 years, but you will never blossom, for you will never take that purpose for which you have come into this world. Guru Pyari Saadh Sangat Ji, my brother, my older brother, Bhai Jagraj Singh, he came to this earth, and only in a few moments of a rose we can say, only in the few time periods of a rose can we say, he came here and he blossomed. And what does it mean to truly blossom as a monarch, as a human being walking upon this earth? Truly one is that who is blossomed, who in turn inspires others to blossom. Jana Nanak tur mange tis gur Sikh ki, jo aap jape, abra naam japave. Guru Sahib is explaining to us that they long for the dust of the feet of those that recite the name of God, but inspire others to. And who can we know of more so? Who can we look to more so of our current generation as one who has inspired so many? And was it through instruction? No. Was it through orders? No. Many will say that it was through the channel, and maybe there is some agreement to be had with that, but truly it was through love. It was through that wave of love that swept through every single action that they did. And my earliest memory of Jagraj Singh goes back, in fact, to about 1998, 1999, going to boss camp. I was a Monna then. I used to have clean shaven. I used to have a little short back and sides and a little quiff, shockwaves and all that. Recreationally, still engaging with many things that we shouldn't speak of. And I went to boss camp and I was playing. I remember being at that camp and playing up, trying to play the fool, playing up to the crowd, being rebellious, explaining to all the Sevadar that you're not going to get any compliance from me. Expecting, as you come in through those teenage years, to play the fool and to cause havoc. And I remember Jagraj Singh was in the dorms. He'd been to the camp the year before. He'd taken Amrit, he'd kept their case. And Jagraj, while all the others looked at us with dismay, and perhaps you could say disgust, and rightly so, my behavior really was terrible and deserving. Jagraj would look at me with a smile. They were never judging anybody. They weren't there to judge or to pass just sentence. They were there to try and help in any which way that they could. And from the youngest of years, I remember Jagraj, and their sobha, their nature was always to softly and gently encourage with love. And they would say to me, don't worry, we're going to work with you, we're going to get you there. And many years ago, in fact, many years ago, he would put his hand on my shoulder and he would say, Singh, we're going to make you into Pracharak. I say, you got the wrong guy. I would say to Jagraj, you've got the wrong guy. He goes, no, we're going to make you into Pracharak. But this is what it means to be a Gurmukh of the Guru. Nanak das mukte jo bolle, iha uha sach hove. Guru Sahib says that those Gurmukhs, when they speak, that those things will become true here, and even in the present, that they cannot be seen here and in the hereafter. Guru Pyari Saadh Sangat Ji, the reason I mention this now is because whilst we're here to reflect on the past, it's very important that we live in the present and we look about how we're going to conduct ourselves in the future. Jagraj taught me through that example, and I wouldn't see it then, but there is so much wisdom to be had in stopping judging our peers every single day. Stop placing so much judgment and pressure upon our youngsters every single day. That's not to say we shouldn't encourage. That's not to say that we shouldn't push forward with love. But if I look back to those times, in those earliest moments, in those rebellious moments, being that teenager, it wasn't the hukum, it wasn't the command, it was the pyar that would take us there from the elders and our older brothers and those examples that would come forward from Jagraj. And I look to our peers now, and there is so much to be optimistic about. As I look upon my elders sitting in front of me now, who I've got so much love and respect for, we have to remember that we have to speak with love. And we must remember that we should inspire with our actions.